Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Full-Time Whittle Podcast, bringing you all the latest news after the full-time whistle blows. I'm absolutely delighted to welcome Egyptian international and former Wigan Athletic captain Samy Morsy, who reflects back on his rollercoaster 5 seasons at the DW Stadium for the very first time. So without further ado, here is the Full-Time Whittle Podcast with the captain, the leader, the legend, Samy Morsy. Samy, how are you doing?
Jay, good, thank you, mate, and good to be on here.
Thanks so much for finally joining me. It's great to have you on. And first and foremost, we'll discuss your time overall at Wigan. So it's been quite a rollercoaster, you must admit, since you joined in 2016.
Yeah, to say the least. I think every season, obviously, like many clubs, ups and downs, but I had an amazing time. Great people. I think the fans took to me straight away, which obviously helped me settle in. But no, just great people there, really. And it was a shame the way it ended, because I think what the manager built was something it takes years to build, I think usually when teams get promoted from the Championship to the Premier League, unless, for example, it's parachute payments, or, you look at last season, West Brom, Fulham, these teams, massive, massive money. But when you haven't got that, you have to build something. And I think we was on the verge of doing something really special until obviously the calamity happened.
It's been a really crazy few months for everyone involved at Wigan Athletic. It's been probably one of the club's darkest days I've definitely witnessed. And let's take you back to when that first happened. So what happened and how do you feel when you first heard the news about Wigan Athletic entering administration on July the 1st?
Yeah, so I first knew of it. We beat Stoke 3-0. The place absolutely buzzing. People talking, right, we're not going to lose another game all season. Obviously, we lost one to Brentford. People talking about next season, that's it. We're getting promoted. Just like, it was as positive as I'd ever seen the club or the people, the manager. And then the next day I was in town and I see the manager ringing me. I'm thinking, a bit strange. I only seen him last night. And my initial thought was, I think a club's come in for him. Has a club come in for him? That was my initial thought. So he comes on the phone and he's talking. And then he said, administration. I was like, what? And then in the next breath was, yeah, we could be getting 12 points. Could be. Oh, nah, that's crazy. Nah, surely it can't be, surely. Because not so long ago as well, Darren Royal was talking about how well the clubs ran and how next season a lot of clubs are going to be in financial fair play, the rules, whatever, and we're going to be flying and whatever. And then I've got back in my car. Obviously, it's in the group chat. It's on Twitter. The Wigan Athletic are in administration, 12-point deduction. It was just, could not believe it. We still can't believe it to this day, really. But certainly that day, it was just how, why, it was a crazy day.
What was going through your mind, and obviously what were going through the players' minds during that obviously initial moment? Because I know a lot of Wigan fans saw it on Sky Sports and they must have thought it was a bit of a parody. They just couldn't believe it, like you guys.
Just confusion, because the club had just been bought 3 weeks ago. We were told the new owner is going to invest money. We were told this is going to happen. I remember speaking to Kipre a week earlier, and he was going to sign a new deal. And it just, the club was moving in such a good momentum. It was just crazy, just real confusion. It took a few days to actually process what had happened. Then after the confusion, it was actually sadness. People are going to lose their jobs, and, the football club's been ripped apart.
How let down did you feel when this happened?
Yeah, really let down, because, in other instances, obviously, Berry's situation was terrible. But I know it's no consolation, but that had gone on for a long, long time. There'd been overspending, there'd been Carrington, you could see the writing on the wall. Same with Bolton. That again was a long process, but this was just so random. Usually when you go to administration, you can't pay the water bill, you can't pay the electric, but you start to see the cuts coming in, and in the end it becomes inevitable. But this one was just crazy because it was just so random, and because you've just had a new owner, so no one could expect that when you've just had a new owner.
Do you believe that more should be done to protect clubs from this happening?
Yeah, I mean, when you hear the owners were asking before they even took over the club, about administration. For it to go through there is an absolute scandal. And then even the way it happened, I think there was an opportunity for people to actually redeem themselves with the points. And I know it's a rule, and I know people will say it's in black and white, but there was an opportunity there for them to redeem themselves and actually say, we have to take some responsibility because we shouldn't have let this takeover happen. There was so many different sort of things leading up to it, which you'd expect this isn't a normal takeover. And to ask about administration before, they could actually have come out with a lot of positives, but actually saying, you know what, you shouldn't get the points deduction because we was in the wrong as well. So in the end, it was just a farce, wasn't it? Especially with what happened with other clubs for actually cheating, for actually bending rules. At Wigan Athletic, that didn't happen. Just for some reason, we went into admin, which, the truth is we'll probably never know why.
Are you able to disclose a little bit more information about what you was obviously told about the new owners?
We was told they're going to invest money, highly ambitious, want to get to the Premier League, all these sorts of things, which you're thinking, wow. And then, like I said, the build up to the Stoke game, after beating Stoke, you're thinking, going to give the manager more money to spend. Finally, you got to a point where you're absolutely buzzing, and then out of nowhere, and then obviously you realise they've never come to the country and what they've done to previous businesses, etc. But we was obviously none the wiser.
It's been a really difficult few months for everyone involved, and obviously the shock news of the administration came just one day after we beat Stoke and looked all but safe in the Championship. How does it affect the players on a mental point of view, that the fact that you've needed to now fight for your lives to stay up again due to events that happened off the pitch which you have no control over?
I think, to be honest, it was emotionally draining, just because we obviously had a really good team, players in good form, and like you said, I think 13 or 14 players have left for Championship clubs or Premier League clubs. So it wasn't that personal. It wasn't a personal worry, to be honest. No one really was thinking, oh, what about my future? Because everyone knew to get clubs. It was more to do with for what we'd achieved and what we can achieve. And obviously we felt cheated, and it was just emotionally draining, yeah, to be honest, especially, the cutbacks, what were going to happen, what's going to happen to the club. It was, there was a lot going on, and I think that definitely had an effect. I mean, the players were amazing, never made no excuses, worked hard every day, stuck together. I was really proud to captain the club, but definitely the emotional drainage was certainly a factor in it.
How hard is it to focus on your performances on the field with so much turmoil off it?
It's tough. You have to be as professional as you can, and see, we only lost once to Brentford, and that was immediately after. And obviously, Brentford are a really good side, but we just, after what was happening and what was going on, administrators coming in, and it was just a whole load of confusion. But yeah, you have to do your jobs, and the goal was to stay in the division. And unfortunately, we just missed out on the last day.
I think the one thing that sticks into Wigan Athletic fans' minds is before the Brentford game, your really powerful speech. Do you recall this, and what inspired you to make such a powerful statement?
I just felt it was just time we stuck together. There was so much uncertainty, and the fans had obviously been amazing, so supporting, and I think it was a time where they needed to hear the players still believed, they're still fighting for the cause, they're still proud to be Wigan players, and that's what it is. Players come and go, but the fans, essentially, the fans are the club, and I think the fans needed to hear that. The players felt that spirit as well.
How do you reflect back on these final 6 games where Wigan almost nearly pulled off their greatest ever escape?
On one hand, really proud of the team, but on the other hand, disappointment. Definitely disappointed not to have done it. But it's just one of those, just wasn't meant to be.
Do the games against Charlton and Fulham still haunt you? Because it felt like we were so close, and it was just so devastating.
Yeah, the Charlton was the last minute one. That was devastating, to be honest. And then the Fulham, when you get down to the last day, anything can happen. Then we played really well on the day. On another day, would have won, but like I said, it just wasn't meant to be. He was in great form, full of confidence. But you look at it now, and would the club be in a worse situation if it was a still Championship club? Probably. So I don't know. I guess everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. And in that spectacular run, we obviously seen Wigan receive their record win against Hull City, 8-0, 7-0 up at half time. I mean, that was one of the best house of football I've ever seen. How do you reflect back on that game in particular? Because as a fan, it was just bonkers, really.
Yeah, they was a huge rival at the time as well, and it was just a case of by then everything had clicked. Everything had clicked. Everyone knew the job. The group was together as it's ever been, and the lads were just amazing on the day. And it was just stream after stream after stream of attacks. They was a rival as well. I think we was a point above them at the time, something like that. So we knew we had to win it. But I just think we just had that energy, that momentum, and when you look at it, that's probably the most disappointing thing because momentum and energy is so powerful, and we had it in such abundance that this season, where I think the championship's weaker than it's been in a couple of years. To be honest, I don't think there's any real standout candidates this season. If we was to go into it this season, we would have had a real go, and I think that's a disappointment of the management team, the fans, the players, because everyone knew as well. The fans knew as well. Of all the fans I spoke to, they sensed something special was here, which you don't get all the time. You probably get every how many years, and that was just a disappointment that destroyed.
I think anyone could watch, can see it, anyone who knows football, because you can clearly see the bond that you had. You was all playing for each other, the relationships you had on the pitch. You and Joe Williams were tearing up in midfield. Kiefer Moore, Jamal Lowe, Kieran Dowell, Cal Naismith, all outstanding up front. They set the defence like a brick wall, and it seemed like we'd finally got a team together, which was not only capable of consolidating, but pushing for the playoffs and promotion. And is it a firm belief amongst yourself and the rest of the squad that you probably could have achieved promotion this season?
Oh, definitely, without doubt, yeah, without doubt. I think the second half of the season, you look at the form, and even the first half of the season, there was so many last minute equalisers, last minute conceding to lose games. But once we sorted out issues in the club, personnel, we really just kicked on really. And yeah, a lot of the lads would say, going into it this season, we would have been right up there. Because as I said, once you've got that quality and that togetherness as well, and obviously the manager had been there a couple of years as well. Things happen at the right time. Like things don't happen straight away. People like Kiefer, Jamal, Kieran Dow, these guys, next season they would have been better in that system. It took them all a while to get going, and when they get going, they were really good. But guys like that this season would have been even better. Obviously, people like Joe Williams, he come in and he just hit the ground running straight away and managed to continue his form. But it's usually the second season where you get to see people with real quality when they're settled, when they feel comfortable. So yeah, the team would have been awesome this season for sure.
Absolutely. And since the administration happened in July, did you feel like the Latics squad grew closer together and formed a bit of an unbreakable bond where you'll always be connected as a group because of the period you've been through?
Yeah, definitely. It always has been a close. Obviously, some of the guys are still there. But yeah, I'm sure we'll all remember each other in this situation and how well we did really. And, just that effort and commitment which everyone put in, it was amazing, especially those people at the time out of contract. You look at other clubs and people refuse to play, with contracts running out, and we had here contracts running out, but players still playing. Even Pilks was struggling with something out of contract and in admin, still doing his best. He ended up getting injured, putting his body in the line. People like Gary Roberts, Fox, they all, older players who you have to look after yourself, don't you? You have to look after yourself in case you get injured, all sort of on the front line fighting every day. So it was amazing to see.
I think this is one of the main positives of this really dark period is seeing the sort of spirit that you had and how connected the entire club felt because the fans and the players, the staff all seemed as one. And throughout the period, one phrase got banded quite about, and that was the Band of Brothers. Where did this come from?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not sure, but there was definite, a closeness within the group where I think everyone would keep in touch. Forever, really. The lads would keep in touch forever. I was just speaking to Nazy then, actually. So it's a real tight knit group, and obviously that's brought us together. And it's just such a shame, isn't it, that it had to happen, but it did happen for a reason. But yeah, I think it really united the club, actually united the fans. And I think the fans would just actually be happy to have a football club, because at one point you was thinking, what's going to be the future of Wigan Athletic? So I'm just thankful that Wigan is to the club.
Yeah, I think this is definitely something over this period. I think the Wigan Athletic fans have kind of took the time to cherish the club and realise that, to not always take it for granted, because you don't think something like this is going to happen. We certainly didn't. And it just shows that you should cherish every moment you have supporting Wigan. And unfortunately, one of the necessary evils of administration is players going and leaving. How much did it hurt you personally to see this special group of players torn apart?
It was sad, really, but I think once you get relegated, it was inevitable. I think just because, especially with the salary caps now as well, playing Championship to League One is going to be massive financially. Personal ambition as well. Like every person in the Championship, the goal will be to get to the Premier League. And while you're in the Championship, you never know, dear. You never know if you get playoffs or whatever. You've always got a chance to get there, which is pretty much which every player's worked towards. So when we get relegated to League One, I obviously knew there'd be a mass exodus, because people have to think about their careers and what they want to do. A couple of the lads went to the Premiership as well, which is brilliant. And then as well, players, the lads still there should still be Championship players. Joe Garner, Championship striker, Naismith, Championship player. These sort of players, Lee Evans is there, Gary Roberts, Tom Pearce, Jamie Jones. All these players should still be in the Championship, but unfortunately, due to things out of their control, they're not. They're in League One now.
Yeah, it's been a real shame to see, because obviously we finished 13th in the Championship last season, which is a huge achievement, considering at Christmas we was in the bottom.
Yeah.
And it's such a proud achievement looking back. Although what happened off the field, on the field, it's some of the best football the fans have been treated to over the years, and it's probably the best team you was a part of during your time at the club.
Definitely.
So, at what moment did you realise that your Wigan Athletic career was coming to an end?
Probably, the final game of the season, really. The final game of the season, when I knew we was down, then I pretty much knew. Obviously, leading up to that, I spoke with my agent a few times, but I said to him, "Listen, let's get the season out of the way first, and let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can survive." But then, obviously, when that happened, it was plain that my future wasn't going to be there. Then I had to be wait, and then in the end, I had to choose the best option for me, which I thought was Middlesbrough.
Please, can you talk me through your move to Middlesbrough and how it happened?
Yeah, that at the start of the window, I spoke with them. Then it went quiet, and then I thought I was going to other places, to be honest. And then, yeah, pretty much in the last week before the season started, I was left with 4 options, and I just felt Middlesbrough, probably in particular, the manager's track record, getting teams promoted. That was for me, which I thought, yeah, I'd like to be a part of that, because if I didn't, I think I'd regret it, because he just knows how to get teams promoted, just knows how to do it. I think he's got the record amount of times, the way he's done it. So for me, I wanted to, see what we can do this season with this team.
What is it like? What has it been like to work with Neil Warnock recently? Obviously, the other night you got a fantastic win at Bristol City, who was unbeaten until you came along into town.
Yeah, brilliant. Really, really enjoying it. Manager's great, real character. 72, but still so sharp. So sharp. So I've just been really enjoying it, to be honest. Really enjoying it. Bristol were top of the league the other day. We beat them, so that's great. And it's a really good. It's a decent start to the league, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty more in us.
Yeah, I'm sure Wigan Athletic fans will wish you all the best in settling at Middlesbrough. To relate back to obviously leaving Wigan Athletic, how difficult was that decision to make?
Yeah, it was difficult, because obviously I was so settled there. All my planning was around Wigan, and obviously signing a new deal. I'd seen where I can try and take the club really, or what I can be a part of, and I thought, you know, we'd got to the point where we could do something special. So it was a hard decision. I've lived there for years, know the place, the people know me. You create a relationship with players, with staff, with fans. So it was very hard. Obviously at Wigan, I was at Wigan 5 years. It was a hard choice, but I look back and only fond memories.
What do you miss the most about Wigan, and not just the club but the town as well?
Um, I don't know. It was just we just had this. I think in the end we just had such a good thing going on. Do you know what I mean? The training game was brilliant. We obviously really enjoyed training. Just that team morale. Enjoyed playing with each other. Enjoyed playing on the DW. Where the form was brilliant. Playing really good stuff. Just that togetherness really. Just being there. And it was just a shame that the fans didn't really get to see it just after lockdown.
It's been really special to see, and you've been an outstanding role model to everyone at the football club for how you've handled the situation over the last few months. And would you ever consider coming back to Wigan Athletic one day?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'll always have that attachment and that feeling towards Wigan. And obviously, like I said, I think the fans took me in early just because they knew I'd always give 100% and knew that I was proud to wear the badge. And I think fans appreciate that. So, yeah, for sure, at some point, hopefully I'll be back at Wigan in some sort of capacity.
That'd be absolutely brilliant to see. And you had a really special relationship with the supporters I've just touched on. What do you think of the supporters' efforts to try and save the club over the last few months?
Unbelievable, really, really, incredible. Like, while it was going on, it took you back. The fight and the supporters, it really took you back, and it's sort of as from a player's perspective, sometimes you're that focused that you don't see anything else, because your Monday to Friday is preparation, eat, sleep, train, etc. And it is you do need that mentality in football now. But with what's gone on, you start to see it from a different perspective and start to see the fans and what they're doing. And it was truly amazing. It made you appreciate the effort and what the football club means to people. Because I think sometimes you get lost in that. But the fans were phenomenal, and I'm sure when they get a chance to go back into the stadium, they're going to be cheering on the team more than ever.
It's been a really special period because to raise over £800,000 in the midst of a pandemic, Wigan's a working class town. It's remarkable, really, and it just shows how much this town means to so many people, how much this club means to so many people. Sorry. And obviously, this is something that will live long in the memory to all the fans. And was there any moments that you saw on social media or was told about which sticks in your mind from this period?
Loads, to be honest. I mean, our fans are amazing, but even rival fans from everywhere, just a message of support in the football world was just incredible. And in players, obviously, from rival teams, and we had the support of the whole footballing world, and it was amazing. It just goes to show in any situation when people come together, you can achieve something.
Absolutely. I think you should be applauded for your leadership throughout this period because it's been nothing short of inspirational. You've been a real figurehead for the town in terms of bringing the club together, being a really strong leader from the pitch to the fans, and I think you should be really proud of that. Did this whole period bring a new meaning to what Wigan Athletic meant to you?
Definitely, yeah, definitely. Never was a prouder to captain the club. And then it was a case of, like you said, trying to bring everyone together, which, like I said, the fans were just absolutely incredible. The support behind the players, and every single player felt it, every single player appreciated it. And it just brought, the fans, the club, the players, the ex-players together, and it just created a special bond in which, I hope this could be the start of something in the future where Wigan becomes even more of a special club.
Absolutely, and I fully agree. And for people wanting a little bit more of an insight into your leadership, can you maybe run through your approach of obviously being a captain, not just only in administration, but overall?
I think in leadership, the main thing is just trying to get the most out of people around you, and you can do that in many ways. I think a golden rule is obviously leading by example. So, whatever I expect you to do, I do myself, first and foremost. And then it's just, everyone's different. Everyone works in different ways. But ultimately, the goal is if you can get people happy, get people comfortable, and just trying for everyone to reach their full potential. But again, it always has to start from you and your actions. And you can never guarantee to play well. In football, you can't do that. But what you can guarantee is how you conduct yourself, how you speak with people, the energy you bring across, and to try to lead by example, really.
Are you really proud of yourself of obviously your leadership throughout this period? Because I think you should be.
I don't really look at it like that, to be honest. I think the disappointment is we didn't stay up, and it is still a disappointment of mine. And I guess it was just something which happened, and I knew I had to step up, and I think a lot of players did as well. A lot of players showed leadership qualities in different ways, and I felt like it was my duty really to the football club and to the fans as well, because like I said, the fans are the one who have suffered the most out of everyone, and that's the least they deserved.
Absolutely. And it's also for the staff members as well. You must have been so disappointed to learn that 75 people lost their jobs because of this.
Mm.
And it was really disappointing. And one thing that I would like to ask you about, and it's always stuck out in my mind, is before the Stoke game, you did a really special gesture that one Wigan Athletic fan and Latics supporting family will never forget. You placed your Wigan Athletic shirt over the cardboard cutout of Jack Stout, who obviously passed away when he was only a young lad, a young baby. What inspired you to do such an amazing and humane gesture for Christine Lamb and her family?
I just knew Christy's obviously a huge, huge fan, loves the club. And then when I heard the story and I seen the crowd there, I just thought it'd be amazing. So she could see, a shirt on the baby. And I just thought, really nice. And obviously she really appreciated the gesture. And that's what it's about, because at the end of the day, we're all in it together, so to speak. And when you're at a club, it's just nice to do. And I know it meant so much to her and her family. And I always think if you're in a situation or if you're in a position where you can help someone or make someone feel good, then you should do it.
Absolutely. And it's a great way to look at things. And Wigan Athletic fans are very special, as we've seen over the last few months, and they're very unique. Have you had any unique encounters and moments with Wigan fans over the years, which have been quite humorous? Because we've seen it on Twitter. It's quite unique.
Yeah, seen them all over really. But like I said, the fans have been great. Probably the song will stick in my mind, Kenny's song, which was a good one. But unique bunch, great characters, and just really enjoyable. And probably one spell I'll always remember under the Warren Joyce era towards the end of the season. A very unbalanced squad, which wasn't Warren Joyce's fault, but that's a different conversation. The players he was left with, but the football wasn't good. It was poor, but still the fans were supporting the players, and that's something I'll always remember. Where I thought, that's proper.
Yeah, it was a really special period, and I remember that you were playing attacking midfield during those days, which is something I've never seen before, and you played well in there. I remember your 2 goals against Brentford, which won the game, and that was a really nice moment for the Wigan fans. Obviously, that season ending relegation, and we'll get back onto that and reflect on your time at Wigan shortly. And recently, Wigan Athletic fans have got the news that they've been waiting for, that they reached an agreement with a preferred bidder from Spain. What was your reaction when you heard this news?
Brilliant. I know it's been coming. I know the administrators are trying to do the best they can. I know they've had an incredibly difficult job. They probably didn't help themselves initially saying there wouldn't be a fire sale when, obviously there had to be. I think the hands were tied. And obviously Paul Stanley, who I've dealt with specifically, has always been me anyway. He's been open and he's been honest about it. And I think he's tried to do his best. So hopefully we get a new owner in, then we can start to build something new.
Are you hoping that the club's long-term future can now be secured?
Yeah, I think that's massive. I think if they get a stable owner, it's still a massive club, especially in League One. They've still got quality players. They've got a lot of young players coming through as well. A lot of young talent. Few players coming through. Theo made his debut the other day. Very good player. I think he's got a bright future, and I think there's quite a few like that, to be honest. Young McGurk, Devin. There's good players coming through, and obviously with the experienced lads still there, if they can add to that, then Wigan Athletic can have a future again.
Obviously, it's been really nice to see the young prospects break through. Chris Merritt, Alex Perry, Oliver Cranshaw, Charlie Jolly. The list goes on, really. And it's been really great to see. And obviously, in this period, there's been a lot of young players getting the spotlight. How important is it that they get experience and learn from I was going to say older players and more experience like Lee Evans, Gary Roberts, John Sheridan as well. He played his career in centre midfield, over 600 games.
Well, these guys essentially they've won the lottery, because without being disrespectful, they've had loan spells in the conference or things like that. So for now to be playing in League One with Wigan is just, in no other circumstance could that happen. So they have to see that and work really hard. And as you say, work from the older players and just see it as an incredible opportunity, because there's no reason, all good players, there's no reason why one, two, maybe more can really, step up and improve. You don't know what's going to happen with players. It's very hard to tell how players are going to develop until they get the chance. And now they're getting the chance. So it's just up to them just to take it with both hands. All really nice kids as well. Nice, humble lads, all work really hard. Mez has been at the club for years. Lovely lad as well. So all good lads, and all just need to take this opportunity, and, they'll probably be feeling fortunate, yeah, but then it comes a point where, right, okay, I've got to prove I should be here, and that's the everyday process. But some of the younger guys as well, there's some really impressive younger guys as well, which I think throughout the season will be integrated into the squad.
It sounds really promising, and the future does definitely look bright. Would you class yourself as a Wigan Athletic supporter now?
Yeah, definitely. I think I always will be. Always keep track of it with keen interest. Like I said, I've still got friends there, and really wish the guys the best of luck. Still got quality players. Obviously, still got Joe Garner, who'll be the best striker in that division. There's still a lot of good players. Naismith, who we feel he should be at a higher level. So there's still got real quality there, and they've brought in some decent players as well.
I think it is looking bright for the future, definitely. And obviously, you spent 4 years at Wigan Athletic. You joined in January 2016, and you spent 4 very interesting years. Let's reflect a little bit more on that now. So you signed in January 2016 on the same day as Ryan Colclough under Gary Caldwell. And then in that season, we went on to win the League One title in 2015 to 16. So how do you reflect back on your first few months at Wigan Athletic?
I was close to moving that summer, and that didn't happen. And then my form leading up to the move wasn't amazing. I probably got the move off the season before, if I'm honest. So I've come in end of January, and then obviously you're in the hotel for a couple of weeks. You're getting settled, you get accustomed there. And in that time, I think when I come, we was fourth, and we ended up winning the league. And that probably wasn't a lot down to me. I think I played 18 games, only lost one of them. And it was a case of a form probably mixed, some good games, some bad games, some average games. So come the end of the season, I was obviously really happy we got promoted, fairly satisfied with my own performance, not delighted. Then, yeah, in the summer, I kept hearing rumours about me going on loan or moving clubs, and my agent was getting calls. And usually when this happened, it's only one or two things. It's either you've had an amazing season and someone higher up wants to sign you, and obviously I didn't have an amazing season, I've just signed there, or the club's looking to get rid of you. So kept having these calls, kept hearing hearsay, whatever, kept asking the questions. No, was told I was part of the plans. And one day, yeah, just got told basically I could leave.
This was a massive shock to all Athletic fans. You ended up joining Barnsley on loan. Can you talk us through that move and obviously going to a club also in the Championship? It was really bizarre looking back for all Wigan fans, and I imagine it was the same for yourself.
It was strange, really, but I think what had happened was the pre-season games, that pre-season, I wasn't in the 11, and the team kept losing. I think it was Max Pert and Gilbs, I think, played in midfield. So the team kept losing. So he's just brought Gilbs in. And obviously he really trusted Max and Perks. So he's seen an area he needed to improve in midfield. And he brought in Jordi Gomez, Nick Powell, and Sean McDonald. So I think it was literally him thinking, right, I've got my trust in Max and Perks, just brought in Gilby. So to settle the book sort of thing, you have to get rid of one. He chose to get rid of me. And then, went to Barnsley for half season, had an amazing time there. Had a really good time there, really enjoyed my football under Paul Heckingbottom. We had a really, really good team. And then in January, obviously by then the manager had been sacked. By January, I ended up coming back.
How did you approach that loan move to Barnsley? Was it a case of showing what Wigan Athletic were missing, or just a case of establishing yourself in a new team?
Yeah, I'd worked hard to get an opportunity in the Championship. I wasn't ready to step down, and I went there, and Paul Heckingbottom put his trust in me, and it just clicked pretty much straight away, really. And we had a really good team that season. Well, for that half season, and then there was obviously going to be a lot of departures, and a lot was going on at the club at the time, which gave me a pathway back to Wigan.
It was a really outstanding Barnsley team, if I remember correctly. Sam Winnall was up front, Conor Hourihane in midfield, and it was really promising. And I remember, I think they got raided in that January, and a lot of players did depart. So you came back to Wigan in that season under Warren Joyce. The club got relegated to League One, and then in the summer of 2017, Paul Cook came in, obviously someone you know very well at Chesterfield, and then he made you captain for the following season. First and foremost, Paul Cook, someone you know very well. What is your relationship with Paul, and what do you think about him?
Yeah, no, amazing. He's been unbelievable with me. Still very close to now. Put his trust in me, played me all the time, gave me confidence, exactly what you need. Done wonders for me really in my career, and without him, I don't think I'd be in the Championship now. But he's done amazing for me, amazing manager, and hopefully we'll see him back in a managerial position very soon.
Absolutely, he's an outstanding manager at the Championship level, and I think he could go a lot higher as well with the talent and potentially he has. I'm sure other players can see that. And in terms of that season under Paul Cook, you got made captain in the following August. Dan Burn was vice captain. What was the initial moment like when you was told that you were going to be the captain of Wigan Athletic?
Well, I'd captained Chesterfield as well under him. And I think he was umming and ahhing whether to make me captain initially, to be honest. He had other people in mind, and he asked me, "Do I want to be captain?" And I sort of said to him, "Well, I've got your promotion before and in the playoffs, so I'd love the opportunity to do it." So he's given me the captaincy, and then we had a really good season in which the team was a very talented team, and we had a great season.
It was an outstanding year to look back on because not only did you pit Blackburn Rovers to the league title, there's also that special FA Cup run, which saw us beat West Ham, Bournemouth, Manchester City, who were blowing every team out of the water. Unfortunately, you were suspended for that game. But how do you reflect back on that FA Cup run and that season?
It was amazing. The run was amazing. The City game was incredible. I remember watching that game, and it was incredible because that season I think they was at their best that season. But we had a really talented team. We had a way of playing, and great people there as well. And it was really good to get it in a really memorable season.
Is there any games from that League One campaign that stick out to you?
Blackburn away, I think it ended 2-2. Is 2-0 down. I'll always remember it. It was obviously 2-0 down at half time, and the manager's going mad. I think he saw Danny Graham, giving it to the fans and trying to get the fans going, the 2-0 up. So the manager really fired up. I remember James Vaughan come on that game, completely changed the game. 2-2, that was a good game. And probably the FA Cup one as well against Bournemouth, the one where we won 3-0. That was just when you thought, it's a quality team, a good Bournemouth team, and we battered them on the day. So they're probably the standout games.
There were two outstanding performances. I remember the Bournemouth game really well. You scored, Dan Burn in off the crossbar, and obviously Callum Elder with a bullet header at the back post. It was a really great night for the club, and it obviously stemmed on to something really great. Obviously, in that summer, it was something really special for you because you joined an elite group of players who have represented Wigan Athletic at the World Cup with Egypt. How do you reflect back on this experience? There's this famous photo of you tussling with Luis Suarez.
Yeah, no, that was surreal, to be honest. Again, I went to the camp and I'd fell down the pecking order a little bit, and is that me and another player who was going to go, sort of like the backup midfield player, and he played against Abu Dhabi, if I'm correct, and he played Kuwait, and he played really well. And a few of a lot of my close friends in the camp were sort of saying, "You're gonna play against Colombia," but basically they reckon this guy's going to go because he played really well. So I played against Colombia, had a really good game, and then got selected, which was amazing. And then obviously for that game, it was a funny one really, because with the midfielders, what he'd do is if he ever took a midfielder off, he'd drop the attacking midfielder into central midfielder and bring an attacking midfielder. So it was very rare he'd actually bring me on. But because of my games against Colombia and Belgium in the qualifiers, I'd really impressed him. So the midfielder went down second half early, and then he screamed to me to get warm. And even at this point, I didn't think I was going on. And literally, I've gone out to get warm. He said, "Sam, come back, you're coming on." And I was just, wow, blown away.
Is this one of the biggest highlights of your football career?
Yeah, definitely. Because like I said, I didn't expect it. I'd been in so many camps and not played. It was literally the Colombian Belgian game, which put me in his thoughts. But even then, I didn't think I'd be playing. So it was just so crazy and so random. But yeah, that's definitely been the highlight of my career.
It's obviously a massive honour when a player gets to represent their country, especially at a major tournament like the World Cup. What are your international aspirations going forward?
Just try and get back in the squad. I haven't been called up for the next one. It's a new manager, Egyptian manager. So I'm just waiting to get back in, waiting for an opportunity. Just keep trying to play well with Middlesbrough and just see what happens. That's all you can do.
I'm sure they'll be keeping a close eye on you. And in Egypt, there's a lot of talented players. Trezeguet obviously killing it with Aston Villa, and obviously one of the best players in the world, Mohamed Salah. I know you like a nice little game of chess with him. Have you managed to play him again and beat him?
Nah, I haven't played against him in a while, but no, he's a fantastically talented player, great guy, and we're lucky to have him in the team.
What is it like to be surrounded by players like Mohamed Salah? Does it help you up your game?
Definitely, yeah, because he's one of the top players in the world, in my opinion, at the moment, and he just has everything. And within that, you have to raise your game. When you see him next to you, you don't want to play bad, or you don't want to let him down. That's how it feels. But no, he's a top player, and I think the better players you're around, he definitely can bring more out of you. And obviously, it's a privilege to play with him.
Absolutely. And it's been really great to see you play in the World Cup, because it's always a really proud moment for everyone at the club to see someone go on and represent not only the country themselves, but the town as well. It was a really nice moment for everyone. And moving on from that World Cup to the following season in the Championship, that the club was able to consolidate in the Championship after, I know in that year, you'll probably remember it correctly, the away form was quite a big talking point. Uh, it seemed to be asked in every press conference. So how do you reflect back on that season in 2018 to 19?
Um, just sometimes it just happens, and we was close. And I remember the week where we played Derby and Bristol away. Derby, we battered them on the day, ended up conceding late, lost 1-0. And Bristol, we was 2-1 up, ended up drawing it. And it just obviously kept happening. The home form was steady, just kept happening. And it led us to Easter, didn't it? The Leeds game, which again is, be up there with one of the most memorable games I've played, to be honest. Because to have 10 men, a penalty against Leeds at their place with 75 minutes left, to beat them was just, even now you look back and you think, how did you do it? It was just unbelievable.
It was a really special memory, and I remember Gavin Massey turning into Lionel Messi on that afternoon. It was remarkable, really, and it's something the fans really look back on. I know one memory you'll look back on fondly is against West Brom when you scored a beautiful half volley to win the game. Boyhood Wolves fan, Can't get any better than that, can it?
Yeah, no, brilliant. No, Gavin and Leon Clark was amazing on the day. Amazing on the day. Best Gav's play. Gav was class. And then beating West Brom again, another memorable game. Do you know what? The best thing about it was the fans were there to see it.
Yeah, that was the last away game before coronavirus.
Yeah, so that was amazing to see. But that was just a build-up of us playing really well. And it was amazing. And yeah, I'm glad the fans got to see it.
To reflect back now, and I'd like to thank you so much for joining me tonight. It's been amazing to have you on the podcast. What were your 3 best moments at Wigan Athletic if you had to pick?
First one, probably being given the captaincy. That was the first one. The second, promotion the second time. And I'd say the third was probably that Leeds game,
Yeah, it was really special.
Yeah, because just had no right to win the game.
Yeah, absolutely. It was something I'll never forget, because I remember watching it, and I was stunned in the best way possible. And it's been a really great and interesting roller coaster for you at Wigan Athletic. And can you maybe give a little bit for a light-hearted view now? Is there any funny moments at the club which will something you'll always remember, which you can obviously say?
Let me think. Probably a funny moment. Probably when we went to Dubai. When Dubai last international break, and I think the manager gave a night out to the lads, obviously which was normal, and he's told us to meet downstairs at 10 o'clock to catch the flight the next day. So we're waiting downstairs, and then about 10:30 in the morning, we see Clarkey roll up, Leon Clark. We see him roll up. He just looked at us, looked in, and went straight to his room. I mean, that was a good moment, because he was and then he come back as well. To be fair, and he was on fire after that. So I think the trip did him some good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one thing the fans have always loved about you is the fact you love winding the opposition up. I know there's one phrase that you'll know, which you've heard quite a lot about your game. And is there any stories you've got of maybe getting under your opposition's skin?
Yeah, there'll be quite a few, but I'd rather not say. I'd rather not.
No, that's more than understandable.
Yeah.
And to end the interview, it's been an absolute pleasure and an honour to have you on the podcast. Can you name a 5-a-side team of the best Wigan Athletic players you played with over the last 4 years?
Okay. In goal, I'd go Morsy. 5-a-side, so just 4 outfield players, yeah. One defender, midfield, 1 striker. Defender.
Kind of spot in as well. Shay Dunkley named you in his team. I don't know what influence you, but if you don't name Shay Dunkley, he might ring you up. And I won't really cross Shay, but obviously there's been so many top defenders, so this will be a tough one for you.
It's a tough one, because one of my favourite people would be Jason Pearce.
Well, that's an interesting choice.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to go with him, but I was only there with him for 6 months. He was one of my favourite people. And then Kipre was amazing. But yeah, I'll put Dunks in there just for easy life. 2 in midfield, 1 striker. I'll start off with a striker, and for the striker, I'm going to go with Nick Powell.
Yeah. Very solid choice.
Yeah, Powell is obviously an amazing player, really good guy, really interesting guy. I like sharing the dressing room with him, and look forward to playing against him soon. 2 midfield. I'm going to go. 1 is not a midfielder, but I'm going to put him in Nathan Burn. I think consistency over a number of years. He's been amazing. Top player, top guy as well. Really good friend of mine. So I'm going to put him in there. And the other slot I'm going to go with, it would be out of, if it was a midfielder, I'd put Joe in there, Joe Williams. Obviously, we got a great relationship going in the end. Really enjoyed playing with him. But I'm going to put someone who I've been with for years. And I think all my selections are guys who have been with for years, really. Someone who've been with for years, still going strong. Great guy, great player. Gary Roberts.
Mr. Reliable, obviously, someone Paul could trust very well at Chesterfield, Portsmouth, Wigan Athletic, a great player and a great person in the dressing rooms as well. I'm sure he's always cracking jokes.
Yeah, definitely. He's a top man. He's brilliant for the club, and he's still got a lot left in him, to be fair, as well.
I think it sums up the amount of quality we've had over the years, that the Chelsea right back and current England international Reece James didn't even get in the five-a-side team.
Yeah, well, it was going to be him or Nathan. I just think, obviously, I've been with Nathan for years. Do you know what I mean? I've been with Nathan for years.
Yeah,
Really.
so gotta have the loyalty there. Keep it,
Yeah.
keep Nathan happy. But thank you so much for tonight.
Nah, my pleasure.
Throughout the last few months, the way you've conducted yourself has been absolutely phenomenal. You've led from the full front. It's been really inspirational, and I'd like to really thank you for that. And I'd like to give you one last opportunity now to send a message to the Wigan Athletic supporters.
No, just thank you for the continued support, and I'm sure you can't wait to watch your club again. And I'm fully confident the club can go back places, because it can, because they've got the strength for the supporters. It's a special club, and the players know how much it means to play for Wigan Athletics. So I wish everyone the best in the future, and hopefully I'll be back soon.
If you enjoyed this episode of the Full-Time Whittle Podcast with Samy Morsy, please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.